Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And today we are here to discuss Ian Thomas. Ian Thomas has been re-signed by the Carolina Panthers. And while I don't hate the fact that he was re-signed, I do hate how much he was re-signed for.
Yeah, first of all, you've never been a fan of Ian Thomas.
No, I've not been a fan of Ian Thomas.
I always thought I had a lot more hope for him. I really liked him coming out of college. I always thought that, in the system, it just wasn't working out. But I really liked him as a player. But this contract, what the biscuits is the front office doing? Like, seriously.
Oh, biscuits. Yeah, 3 years, $16.5 million, $8 million guaranteed. I think 6.5 or something in the first year. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Ian Thomas is not a good player. He is not a good contributor. He's not a good blocker. He's an average run blocker and a worse than average pass blocker, which sort of flip-flopped this year because generally he's been a little better as a pass blocker. But, I mean, we drafted Tommy Tremble in the third round, who is a blocking tight end that,
correct,
they're hoping eventually evolves into something more. But I don't get it. I mean, if you look at Ian Thomas's stats, his best year was his first season, where he had 36 receptions, 333 yards. After that, it's under 200 receiving yards and 20 or less receptions every season.
Touchdowns.
He's done nothing.
Four
total touchdowns in his career. And
Insane.
2 of those were in season 1. He's not a good player. And I can understand how after that first season, when Greg Olsen was here and, I could see how you would say, well, you know what? That's a pretty good first season for like a rookie second tight end, right?
Yeah.
But he's been the guy. Like, he's had his opportunity to be the tight end for the last couple seasons here. He's done nothing with it. He's played every game. He's done nothing with it.
No, I agree with that. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Now, Joe Brady's offense never utilized the tight end. It never seemed to really go that way. That being said, Ben McAdoo's offensive scheme has produced really good tight ends. A lot of production out of the tight ends. That being said, the O-line needs to be focused in on this offseason, and now we're only $10 million under the cap, roughly, because of this contract.
They've made two deals so far. They re-signed Frankie Louvu.
3.
I thought they made...
J.J. Jansen got signed for 1 year.
Okay. I'm not worried about J.J. Jansen. I can't imagine that was a lot of money.
$1 million.
But they signed Frankie Louvu, 2 years, $9 million, which I like Frankie Louvu a lot. Okay. And I don't have a problem with that signing. It maybe is a little more money than I thought he would have gotten on the free market.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Thomas, there's no way he gets 3 years, $16.5 million from anybody outside of the stupid Panthers, apparently. Nobody's given him that money.
Nobody. And why is this? Why are you jumping out to go sign Ian Thomas? If we could have brought,
makes no sense.
Let him hit the free market. See if you want to bring him back. Fine.
What are you losing if he goes? What are you losing? You're not losing anything.
You're losing 188 yards last year. 188.
Let me read you some of the names that are free agent tight ends right now that we could get, okay, that I would rather have than Ian Thomas. I'm not even going to read them all because there's so many on this list that I would rather have than Ian Thomas. But you've got David Njoku, you've got Evan Ingram, you've got O.J. Howard, you've got Hayden Hurst, you've got Jared Cook, Gerald Everett, Eric Ebron, C.J. Uzama, Zach Ertz, a little old, but still productive. Any of those guys, and I don't think. In fact, I'm going to really be interested to see how much money those guys make because SpotRack has the market value for O.J. Howard at $2.2 million a year.
Screw O.J. Howard. He's done nothing too, but he's done more than Ian Thomas.
He's done more than Ian Thomas.
Does Ian Thomas have any market valued, or
Well, he's signed now, so no, they don't
Okay.
do it if you got the contract. But um, like CJ Uzama, market
He's
value 8.2 million. That's what Ian Thomas is making this
so
year,
right now
basically.
he's going to be the 17th or 16th highest paid tight end in the league. He
Right
is not
now,
that.
yeah.
He is not that.
No, no,
He is not.
no.
Chris Manhertz, Noah Fant, Dallas Goddard. I mean, those are guys that are getting paid less than him that produce
Dallas
more.
Goddard produces way more.
Then right above
Uh,
him, you got T.J. Hawkinson, Logan Thomas, Jack Doyle, Darren Waller. I mean, Cameron Brate. Those guys are like within $1 million of what he's getting paid. What?
yeah, some of those guys I think are still in their rookie deals, but still, in terms of production, they're destroying what Ian Thomas does. I don't. I need someone to explain the rationale to me as to why you're paying Ian Thomas $8 million guaranteed for basically this season. I don't get it. When you have so many other needs, take that money and put it towards a decent offensive lineman.
Defense, offensive line. Hey, if you would have signed Hassan Reddick, it would have been understandable.
Yeah, yeah.
Stephon Gilmore, understandable.
I
You're
think this
jumping
takes
out.
us out of the Hassan Reddick. I don't think we can afford Hassan Reddick at this point.
I don't either. Again, we're only 10 million under the cap now, roughly. This makes no absolute. We're not going to be able to go get any offensive linemen because we're cap strapped now. I mean, we've
So
been.
I mean they have, to be fair, they have the opportunity to work around the cap, and they could probably clear up another 15
20,
20 million dollars, pretty easily. There will be some cuts. There will be some guys on the team that are cut, but this is like, you cannot cut Ian Thomas now. You're on the hook for this money for this year. And like we've been saying, like the needs of this team, tight end, Ian Thomas especially, is not a priority. Why is that a priority? Why did they feel the need to overpay Ian Thomas to come back this year? It makes no sense.
I mean, is David Tepper watching this and just like
Who
being
the
like,
fuck knows where David Tepper is? David
like,
Tepper's not. He's not, apparently not even paying attention.
I mean, what is going on with this franchise? What direction do they have? Are they blindly just like blindfolded throwing darts at a wall of what to do? Because that's the strategy, it seems like. Remember this when they went into the off season, Matt Rule was like, offensive line is what we're going to really focus in on.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the money you're going to magically pull out of your butt to pay these offensive linemen? Because you're wasting it. You're wasting it.
You're sending it to Ian Thomas, who, as a blocker, is average at best. I don't know where all this talk about Ian Thomas being a good blocking tight end comes from.
Oh yeah, I keep reading that.
He's not even the best blocking tight end on our team. Our rookie is better.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't
make
either.
any sense to me.
You like almost tripled what he's worth. And
yeah.
in a time where you need to save every penny. I mean, is Matt Rule and Scout Fitterer just like Allen Iverson at a strip club back in the 90s, just in the locker room? Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, with a wallet that barely has any money in it. And you're just throwing it away.
They're making it hail with nickels, but they're paying way more than nickels.
I mean, there's so many. If you're gonna spend that kind of money, get a guy that's gonna be a plus in the receiving game. Ian Thomas has had his opportunities, and yeah, I know you've said that Joe Brady's offense doesn't include the tight end that much. I mean, I would argue that if we had a tight end worth throwing the ball to, that it would have included the tight end.
We're gonna find out because again, Ben McAdoo's offense runs right with the tight end. So to make this contract to even be halfway decent, he has to put up 750 and I'd say 3 or 4 touchdowns this year.
He basically has to take his career numbers and do them all in one season.
Exactly. Minus receptions. 140 receptions seems a little high, but
He only has 90 receptions for his career. He has 140 targets.
Oh, okay, that's what I was looking at. My apologies, but yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, 802 yards and 4 touchdowns for 4 years where he played every single game. Now, playing every single game is a benefit, it's an asset. But you don't make $16.5 million for playing 16 games a season. Like, I'm sorry. You have to actually put up numbers. You have to actually be a benefit on the field. He's not. Look at his PFF grade in terms of receiving. It's a 46. That's bad. That's among the worst in the league for tight ends. He's a negative when it comes to receiving. Again, as you said, Ben McAdoo's offense is going to be different, and it historically has been heavy on tight end receptions. So we'll see. But that actually makes me feel worse because Ian Thomas has shown me nothing to prove that he is capable of being that guy.
I am just lost. I am so excited for next offseason already because this season's going to be crap. It's going to be bad. And I'm hoping David Tepper cleans house because Scott Fitterer obviously doesn't know what he's doing. I mean,
I don't even know what are we looking for in the draft now because
wide receiver. I have no clues what this offense.
Well, I think this move kind of points them in a direction where they're going to have to trade back because they're not going to have enough money in free agency to fill these holes. They're not going to be able to take best player available at 6. They're not going to be able to take the best, offensive tackle or, way overdraft quarterback. They're going to have to trade back and recoup more picks so they can fill in this roster with quality players.
I think you're overestimating this front office. They are blind monkeys just banging on a keyboard because they have no direction. You say they have to trade back now. I don't think they see it that way. I think they're going to go draft the running back in the first round now because they're just going. They're just puttering around cashing checks and spending checks. I mean, what this front office has done is set this was supposed to be a 3-year rebuild. We're going into year 3 right now. What this front office has done, in my opinion, has set this franchise back another 2-3 years. Because we have no offensive line, no quarterback. The defensive standouts are all reaching a time where they need to get paid, and we have no cap to do it. So they're going to probably walk in free agency. What monuments? Who are the linchpins of this team? Christian McCaffrey.
Elfline.
Well, okay. Christian McCaffrey, Brian Burns. Who Christian McCaffrey hasn't really played in 2 years.
Christian McCaffrey, by the way, heavily involved in trade rumors.
Yeah.
It might not even be on the team by the draft.
I mean, who else is your studs? Who are you building the team around?
Exactly, that you're building the team around because Hassan Reddick, you would say would be there, but he may not be here in a couple of weeks.
He may be he's a free agent. I'm not calling build around him because you can't.
I mean, I would love to re-sign him and use him and Brian Burns as sort of the linchpins of that defense. But I mean, you got Shaq Thompson, above average linebacker.
Jeremy Chin,
not a superstar.
Jeremy Chin, but they misuse him.
They play him out of position. DJ Moore.
You got to pay him next year or this year.
Yeah.
And you don't have the money to do that because you
Horn.
Spent it on Robbie Anderson. It's just these are just stupid. It's stupid moves.
And all of you out there, and this is going to be just a YouTube only. We're not putting this up on the podcast feed. So if you guys disagree, or maybe you have some rationale as to why, number one, they re-signed Ian Thomas at all. Number two, why they gave him so much money. Number three, why they felt they had to do it now before they even talk to any other free agent tight ends, then please let us know because I don't get it.
I am on the side of re-signing him. Just everything else, the 2 and 3 on that is what I'm having in trouble. The amount of money, the timing of this just makes no sense. No absolute sense.
Yeah,
Like
I saw somebody tweet out yesterday that, and this was like a national guy,
mhm.
uh, that the Panthers, who the Panthers prioritize and when they make these signings is the most confusing thing in the NFL.
Yeah,
Like when you just look at last year, and we've talked ad nauseum about the offensive linemen that, in day one of free agency that we signed last year, um, where you were,
yeah.
absolutely apoplectic about that. Um, I was a little more like, well, maybe this is going to work out. Well, it didn't work out.
Awful.
That
We had.
obviously showed terrible, 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 terrible. And I think this is going to be the same, and
I do
maybe even
too.
worse, because this money is basically what those two offensive tackles made together. You're paying Ian Thomas that money. It's so stupid.
I
This
mean,
front office, they go after Sam Darnold, okay?
and I hated that
After
move.
going
I tried.
after Teddy Bridgewater the prior year, and paying him to not play on the team. Now you've got Sam Darnold, who you're on the hook for $19 million, and is he going to be on the team? I don't know. We may be paying him 10, $11 million not to play on the team and be somewhere else.
I
And
just.
you don't have the money. You don't have the cap space to get anybody else in here. You're going to have to either draft a quarterback, and we know the quarterback, position. We've done a couple of them in our draft profiles. Is very questionable.
Oh yeah. There's not a
We've
guy
done
that I
the
feel
two.
like great about.
There's not a day one starter. I don't think there's not a day one starter out there.
Oh, they're gonna have to be a day one starter if they come to this team.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could. Um, I mean, I think we're looking at multiple PJ Walker games next year as a starting quarterback. Honestly,
I just I just want to know their thought process because I know they have been in football a lot. They've been head coaches and in the organizations for so long. How my pea little brain doesn't understand this building. I am not surrounded by football. I don't go to the practices. So please explain to me what the heck you're thinking with this signing. Because I, average fan, do not understand. I am pleading with the organization to explain their thought process besides being blind monkeys throwing darts at a dartboard of what to do next. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like a boat just floating in the sea with no direction. We're just floating around. And we're setting
yeah,
ourselves back another 2-3 years. And as a life, not lifelong because they weren't around when I was born, but
as long as they've been around.
yeah, Panther fan, I don't know what to do now. Because honestly, the past couple years in the direction of this franchise has lost me. I don't know where to go. Because I look at this franchise, what the moves they're making, I don't see any positives. Any positives in my eyes. Over and over again, it looks like dumb, idiotic mistakes. Even when they make them. I think, granted, I like the Teddy Bridgewater signing because I always thought Teddy Bridgewater, but he doesn't take as much chances. But it's just like the rest have been, what are you thinking? How am I over here sitting behind my computer thinking that's a dumb move, and it's proven fact that it was a dumb move by the product on the field?
Yeah. I mean, the Teddy Bridgewater thing, like, as a player, I like Teddy Bridgewater. The situation that we were in, signing him for that amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't feel like made much sense. And then getting rid of him after one season and still having to pay him definitely didn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater as a player, I was okay with. Um, but yeah, I mean, Hassan Reddick was a great signing. I wish they'd have signed him for more than 1 year. That seemed a little short-sighted. Um, finding Frankie Louvu at this point just looks like pure luck rather
Yeah.
than skill. They misplay Christian McCaffrey by, He comes off an injury. You give him 30 touches the first 2 games of the season, then he gets hurt. Everybody saw that coming. It seems like even the star players that they have, they don't play them correctly. Signing Robbie Anderson to a big deal after
Bef-
one good season,
and
um,
before DJ Moore,
before they
who
had to.
is
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, Obviously, it looks like a mistake. And now Robbie Anderson's talking about, maybe wanting to play with the Jets again, because they have a better quarterback than us, I guess. The guy just wants to get away from Sam Darnold. Everywhere he goes, Sam Darnold's following him around. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have any answers for you. I think this is just kind of a lost few seasons for the Panthers, and I don't know when it gets better. Because you fire Matt Rule, well, you got to bring somebody else in. Do you trust David Tepper to make the right decision on the next head coach?
Or Scott Fitterer. I mean, let's be honest. Scott Fitterer.
Scott Fitterer is kind of shitting the bed here, honestly.
He's in on every deal and gets hosed on every deal. So, I mean, we are we are a laughing stock of the NFL. That's what I feel like right now.
Yeah, we're turning into the Bengals and Browns of the 2000s. Like we're just going to be in this perpetual a new quarterback every season, making free agent deals that make no sense. Nobody wants to come here, so we're going to have to overpay.
And then once you overpay, they want to leave. Look at Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, you get a new coach comes in, he sucks. Get rid of him, bring in another one. He sucks. Get rid of him. It's just going to be like this until we're bad enough the right season to get the franchise quarterback.
And then we'll still need a good coach. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get that.
I mean, a franchise quarterback solves a lot of problems. I mean, look at the Bengals. Like Zach Taylor is not a great coach, and they have a crappy O-line, a terrible O-line. They made it to the Super Bowl. Like, you have a good enough quarterback. Now, Joe Burrow is, in a couple of years, probably going to be considered, if not the best quarterback in the league, one of the top 2 or 3. So finding a guy like that is rare. But the worse you are, the more shots you get to take at it. The Bengals had the number 1 pick a lot of times over the last decade. So, or top 2 or 3 pick at least. So yeah, I don't know, man. Again, anybody out there still listening, drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think, where you think this franchise is headed. I mean, we just did our State of the Franchise podcast, and then the next day this news comes out. So we definitely wanted to hop on here and give our thoughts.
Yeah, you messaged me this about the signing, and the more and more it ate at me all day yesterday. Mm-hmm. I was like, because originally I didn't even want it, because Ian Thomas isn't the guy we usually break for extensions and stuff like that. But it just ate at me. It was like,
well, yeah, it's systematic. This isn't really about Ian Thomas. This is about decision making of the franchise. But it is also about Ian Thomas.
Yeah.
I hope, I'll say this, just to put a little bit of optimism here. I hope Ian Thomas breaks out this year in McAdoo's offense. And maybe we see, oh man, he really wasn't being used correctly, and now that he is the focus, an actual asset in the passing game, maybe he goes for 600-700 yards and 7-8 touchdowns. I mean, I would be thrilled. And this deal doesn't look so bad if that's the case. But if this is another 200-yard season for him with half a touchdown and 25 catches, then I'm sorry. He is what he is.
And I still don't know, what's the point of drafting Tommy Tremble if you're planning on resigning Ian Thomas?
Yeah. Again, like this draft last year, they passed on some really good players to trade back and get guys in the 2nd and 3rd round that didn't contribute. Mm-mm. And now you draft, I mean, God, you draft, who's the receiver that we drafted?
Terrace Marshall.
You draft Terrace Marshall And then a few months later, you re-sign Robbie Anderson to this big deal.
Yeah.
You draft Tommy Tremble, and now we're re-signing Ian Thomas to a big deal. Big deal relative, but it's too big of a deal for him. What's the point? Well, why are you drafting these guys who are supposed to be the young guys that come in and, eventually take over?
Replace the mediocre talent. I mean, that's,
right. Ian Thomas is a mediocre talent. Yes, he's young. He's 25. He'll be 26 before the season starts. And man, if I have to hear the ages of these free agents that they're going after as a positive thing, because that was the whole thing with Sam Darnold. He's only 23. He's only 23. I heard that 50 times from the same people. Well, who cares how old he is? He sucks.
Yeah.
Ian Thomas is only 25. He sucks. He's not good. And you're drafting guys that are even younger. So let them play. If it's not like the Panthers are going to be a Super Bowl team this year. Let the young guys play. See what you've got.
No,
I mean, the chances of the Panthers being a Super Bowl team are way less than the Panthers being the number one pick in 2023.
Oh, absolutely. Making the playoffs is way less than being the number one overall pick.
Yeah. I mean, because they don't have the cap space to go make any moves to significantly improve the team.
And this sounds sad as we haven't hit free agency or the draft, but maybe that's what we need to start hoping for. Because maybe we need to get the number one pick, clean out this front office who doesn't know what the hell they're doing, get the number one pick, get that franchise quarterback, because there's going to be some talented ones coming out next year, and just go from there. Make sure that this front office can't spend any more long-term money or draft picks, and that way a new coach can come in here and new front office can at least build it better than this crap show.
I mean, if you think about it, they would spend their remaining cap space and some of the space that they'd have to create just to re-sign Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, just to resign.
Just to extend DJ Moore. Any cap space that you could create is gone with those players. And now you're looking at Deshaun Jackson gone, Stephon Gilmore gone. You're probably going to have to cut like AJ Bouye and some of these other, veterans that are on the team that don't make a ton of money, but you're going to have to recoup some of these costs somewhere. So they're just putting themselves into a corner here for no good reason. So
I remember like 2 years ago, I was so excited about this type of offseason because we were going to have so much cap space.
Yeah.
Yep.
What happened to it? Where'd it go?
Just.
I wonder if they trade McCaffrey.
But a team's not going to take that money. The team is not going to take that big contract with his injury seasons the past 2 years.
Well, they could cut McCaffrey after this season. It'd be a $12 million, almost $13 million dead cap, but they would save, $17 million the next season. And then an additional $30 million the next 2 seasons after that. So it feels like if McCaffrey doesn't get traded, they're either going to have to really restructure that deal,
and that's what they're going to do,
or they're just going to cut him after this season.
I expect
because you're not paying him $18 million in 2023. You're just not doing that. And then another $18 million in 2024. What a terrible deal that was. What a terrible deal. But hey, he was young.
I'm not even going to knock that because I really liked re-signing him because he was just dominating at that time. But yeah, that one bit us hard.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a running back. This happens with every running back when they sign the big deal. It always happens. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott got the big deal, and he's might not even be on the team next year. Pollard is a much better contributor than he is right now, and he's the one making all the money. I wish that we had a Pollard on our team, but instead we got Chuba. who we drafted because Matt Rule's wife liked his name or something. I don't know. Remember how cute that was at the time, and now I just want to, I don't want to punch his wife.
I'm still holding out hope for Chuba. But that being said, if we restructure Christian McCaffrey, that's $6 million off the books this year. So that's nice.
They're gonna have to. They'll have to. They have to do something.
Robbie Anderson's a $16 million cap hit.
Oh God, that's rough. They're gonna have to restructure him too, if they can.
That's a $4 million savings. And once you restructure them, I mean, this is just kicking the can down the line. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah.
Shaq Thompson would save you roughly $5 million by restructuring. Pat Elflein should just be cut instead of restructured, but...
Well, they don't have a center, so they probably have to keep him around.
So if he goes from $6.5 million down to $4.5 million if you restructure Pat Elflein.
They could cut Pat Elflein with only $366 million dead cap. That might be the way to go, honestly. Because you can get another center that's going to be as good as Pat Elflein. My God.
No,
or you draft one.
You could do that after this year. This year, he's a $4 million dead cap.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm looking at 2022. Yep. Yeah, so you're kind of screwed with him. Oh, man.
We're screwed with this franchise right now. I mean...
Pat Elflein was waived by Minnesota in 2020. They didn't want him at all. Claimed off waivers by the Jets. Played shitty with the Jets. And then got 3 years, $13.5 million with Carolina.
On the first day of free agency.
On day one of free agency. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know. Are these agents just taking advantage of the Panthers? Like, what?
I don't know.
All right.
Any last words about Ian Thomas's contract extension? Good for him because now he's probably set for life.
Good for him. Good for his agents. I don't understand it. But Joe Person gave it a C+ as a grade.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, Joe Person, that's not
Joe
you.
Person, that's very generous, Joe Person. I mean, I give it an F.
I give an F. Yeah, I mean, even if you didn't bring him back, I would have been like, oh, okay. But if you'd have brought him back for like $1-2 million, I'd have been like, okay, that's a decent deal. You saw something in him. But now, this much money, that organization where it's at on the O-line quarterback, it makes no sense. F.
And just for comparison, I tweeted this out. They signed Dan Arnold last year for 2 years for $6 million. That's the type of deal Ian Thomas should have had.
Yeah.
Because Ian Thomas is even less productive than Dan Arnold. And Dan Arnold had to play on 2 different teams last year and still had twice as many catches and twice as many yards as Ian Thomas. So there you go.
We want to thank everyone for listening if you're still there. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show. On our next draft profile, we'll be looking at Akeem Akwan. I can't say it. Ikwan. Oh, no.
The offensive tackle out of NC State.
I said it.
We will learn how to pronounce his name before we record that podcast.
I said it great the other day. Today, I'm stumbling. I guess this contract has me so flustered and angry.
Look, it's not fun to be a Panthers fan right now.
No.
But we appreciate all of you guys from listening. And until next time, keep pounding.